everybody, and welcome to Riding the Pine, where if we were a professional show, I would have written out an actual introduction, but instead, this is what you get. Today, I have myself, newcomer Ryan, who's actually also been here from the start, but he hasn't, he's been busy or something. I don't know what he does. And then also David,
Hello.
fan favorite, all two fans. He is your favorite. Ryan, how are you doing today? And tell us a little bit about yourself, because that's what we make everyone do here.
Thanks, Jake. My name's Ryan, obviously. I'm from Michigan as well. That's where I met Jake. I like sports, so that's why I'm here.
You like sports?
That's
a
like
relief.
Sports. Yeah,
Wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be funny if we got the one guy who's like, I cannot stand sports?
Yeah,
and we brought him
That's
on.
all there is in
sports on
Michigan.
TV, and I throw my TV out the window. So,
Yeah, but you're not a Pistons fan though.
I'm not a huge Pistons fan. I do like seeing them win, but I'm more of a Thunder fan for sure. Yeah,
Which is good, because we are definitely going to talk about them, because one of those two teams are in the playoffs still.
yes, sir.
And it happens to be the one that you're more of a fan of. What about like football and other stuff? Any other sports that you...
Yeah, football, definitely a Lions fan, baseball, Tigers fan, and I'm a big disc golf fanatic, so those are my main sports.
Oh,
yeah.
in case disc golf ever becomes a real sport, we can count on you to be our reporter in the
Hold
field.
on.
Come on
no,
now,
save it for later, Jake. That's our outro.
Yeah.
The great 2016 disc golf / frolfing debate.
No, well, I mean, penis transplanting we have already established as a sport. We'll see for disc golf.
Wow.
That's true.
If penis transplanting is a sport and disc golf isn't, I don't know about you guys.
Well, before we get to that debate, we have to do the rundown. Here's the rundown. The first thing on our list is Raptors and Cavaliers. Obviously, the Raptors stunned the world and probably themselves, all of Canada, maybe even like, I don't know, even the French Canadians who don't really do anything. They were also surprised at the win. Also, Thunder Warriors after that, which is actually a really, really fantastic series. And that too is a stunner, as it happens. We'll talk about the Draymond Green and Steven Adams nut shot incident, which actually has technically happened twice, although one of those may be a little bit of a flop. We'll see. Also, Dwight Howard has been in the news recently, even though the Rockets have been out of the playoffs for quite some time. He actually had a really, really interesting interview with reporter Jackie McMullen, who is fantastic. And he basically bore his soul, and it was pretty fantastic. And then we're going to finish with something that I wrote down, and the only hint I'm going to give you is called Burrito Attack. So stick around for whatever Burrito Attack means. Friends, that is how you keep an audience engaged.
By not letting them know what burrito attack means?
Yes, actually
I can't
always.
wait.
From now on, every last segment will be titled Burrito Attack, and it will be something totally different.
I cannot help but stay tuned, Jake. You've hooked me. I will be here the whole time.
Yeah, I'm in
Also,
for the long run
you
now.
promised me about 2 hours of your time to record this, so
I don't
first
recall
things first.
doing so, but here I am.
I'd like to see a contract.
We don't have those. What do you think this is? Professional? So let's start off with the NBA playoffs, of course, and we'll just do Toronto and Cleveland because I said that first. Did either of you expect not only Toronto to win a game, but to look like not shit when they did it?
No. I thought going into this series that we were going to see another sweep just like the past two Cleveland series. So
yeah, it was actually very surprising, and the big hero of the day, say it with me, Bismack Biyombo, right?
Oh my gosh.
The dude got 26 boards, 8 of which were offensive, which I think is a much bigger deal. Shot for 3 for 6, so he scored some points. He made a free throw too, and he also had 4 blocks. I mean, the dude was just all over the place, and then he got 1 whole assist, probably to himself.
That's
off of a rebound.
That was
he T-Mac'd it.
pure luck. Bismack Biyombo has never seen a teammate. Like, he is, as soon as he gets the ball, he is terrified. He is going to travel or throw up a brick or hopefully dunk. That's what he should just dunk. But I do love Biyombo. So
also, he has arguably the best name in the league, right?
Oh yeah, to infinity and Biyombo. Credit to Brent Barry on that one. But I love it.
Oh my goodness,
that was great.
Too bad we don't play NBA Fantasy. Otherwise, that would definitely be my team name.
That's a team name for sure. Yeah,
for sure. But also, Kyle Lowry didn't look like garbage. He shot over 15%. He hit 7 for 13. He also hit 4 3-pointers, which is weird, even though he shoots a ton of them. He shot 8, but he still hit 50% of them. And he had some assists, too, which is weird. 3 whole ones for a point guard. Wow. Good job. I'm surprised they win. With him.
Well, I mean, the guy was an all-star starter in the regular season. The guy's been a stud like 3 regular seasons in a row, and every playoffs he melts into bad Raymond Felton. Like he's I don't know what to think about the guy, but we saw something like what Kyle Lowry should be the other night. So hopefully we get more of it, because I'd love this to remain a series.
I just don't want my point guard turning the ball over 3 times and only making 4 assists. That's really my thing. Actually, I think the best point guard on the Toronto Raptors roster is actually Joseph. He's played phenomenal in the whole series, I think, for a backup. 6 for 10.
I love Corey Joseph. The guy is Australian, so I don't know how he learned to play basketball, but he sure gets it done. He's a killer defender, and he's cagey. He's smart. He's not a natural like Kyle Lowry. He just oozes
Clearly
talent.
Natural basketball player.
Not in the same way that a Kyrie Irving does, but he's very good. Corey Joseph is just like pure smarts.
Yeah, he reminds me of sort of black Matthew Dellavedova.
Yeah, a little bit.
He just tries real hard.
That's exactly what it is. He's a hustle guy.
Also, Corey Joseph went to San Antonio Spurs Academy for the first part of his career, and that helps a whole hell of a lot, I think.
Definitely helpful, yeah. I think having anybody coached by Greg Popovich is going to become a better player longer in their career.
I would hope so. Otherwise,
you're just
not going to be good at basketball, I guess. But I feel like Joseph looks way more poised than Lowry. Even though Lowry played all right last night or the other night, it's still like Joseph just like he brings the ball up and you see confidence. When Lowry brings the ball up, you kind of see I don't want to miss face.
Yeah. I think Lowry is lacking a lot of confidence right now, and that's probably going to be a problem for him longer in the series.
You know, I appreciate that we're all on a first name basis with Joseph, but only because he has a first name for a last name.
Yeah, it doesn't help. Also, Biombo has a first name for a last name.
That's what I'm naming.
I don't know how Africa works.
I've got a kid on the way, and Biombo's in the running.
There you go. Yeah. Actually, would you name him Jake?
Never.
I'm asking. It was just.
I'm sorry, not going to happen. I know a Jake.
Popular name for hipsters.
Not going to happen.
So we might as well talk about the Cavaliers for a little bit. Who do you think was the least valuable player on the Cavaliers? I have my vote. Who do you think was the worst player on the Cavaliers that night?
Oh boy. Well,
it should be a unanimous decision if you can see the stats at all.
Probably Kevin Love.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
1 for 9. The only shot he made was a 3-pointer. And he had 4 total rebounds, all defensive, 2 assists. At least he didn't turn the ball over. The 3 points from fucking Kevin Love, 3.
Yeah, I think a guy like that, you definitely need to get at least 10 out of him, and then I'd say probably about 10 boards as well.
When Richard Jefferson outscores you, it's time to fucking try hard.
Well,
it's not okay. It's not okay.
Well,
he only played 8 minutes, too, by the way, Richard Jefferson.
Well,
5 points. Crazy.
Here's the problem. I mean, LeBron loves being surrounded by 3-point shooters, and so Richard Jefferson feasts. He's just smart enough to be in the right place. Kevin Love, who...
He only shot 1.
Well, that's his bread and butter, though. But,
Fair enough, but,
I mean basically, Richard Jefferson is a guy that has nothing left in the tank athletically, but can be in the right place at the right time. He's old. How old is he? Like 46?
He's
like
52.
Mike.
I think he actually drives a stone car to work
with his feet.
With his,
of course.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, like Mike Miller and James Jones before him, Richard Jefferson is just coasting out his career in LeBron James' pocket. LeBron James likes it that way, having some smart guys surrounding him. Now, Kevin Love, would-be superstar, kind of gets lost on the Cavaliers sometimes. He does not know what to do. We've seen some great flashes from him these playoffs, and then we see him disappear. And I don't know. Sometimes they use that guy, and sometimes he doesn't know how to make himself be used.
He just doesn't know how to make himself get going, really. He just kind of sits around if he doesn't get the ball. He doesn't move, really. He kind of posts up, and then he'll pop out to a three-point line and then kind of pop back, and maybe he'll run the offense with everybody. But it isn't really like, he just doesn't ever try to get open, it seems.
Yeah, well, that guy, I mean, he's talented enough to score 25 points a game. We've seen it, but he's surrounded by more assertive players, and so he stands around. And that sucks because it's a waste.
And the only guy on that starting lineup that's really a ball hog is probably J.R. Smith at this point, and he's even playing vastly improved. But like LeBron James and Kyrie Irving both have really fantastic court vision. I think we can all agree. Although Kyrie only had one assist, it looks like. But to be fair, they missed a shit ton of shots. But man, Kevin Love did this thing in Game 2, I think, where they were really rolling, and he pump fakes a shot on the baseline. Someone flies at him, goes for it. I think it was Patrick Patterson. I could be wrong. And then he kind of moves to the side, bounces off Patterson to draw the foul, and gets 3 foul shots. I saw him try to do that 2 or 3 times in this game, and they didn't go for it. They pump faked, would fly around him, and then avoid him, and then he would jump sideways while he shot and totally miss the guy. And it's like, if you're not intending on trying to make the shot and you're just trying to force yourself into a foul situation, then what are you doing? At least drive in and take a step or something. That's only a good idea once or twice. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over to NBA players. It's just not going to work. It was the least assertive. It reminded me a lot of Kyle Lowry the game before, where it was just finesse, but without even the good parts of finesse. It was soft is what it was, not finesse.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with the guy. He can be a 25 and 13 every night guy, or in the wrong situation, he disappears. I mean, I guess that's the dividing line between the best of the best and these guys that have all the talent but just can't get there. It's disappointing. It's sad because we've seen the guy, put up 40 and 10 in one night. So
I think the only guy that didn't disappear in that game was probably LeBron. I mean, you got Kyrie did nothing and looked stupid.
3 for 19. He missed 13 shots. He looked terrible.
Jesus.
He hit all 6 of his
game.
free throws, which was why he even scored in double digits.
Yeah, that was the worst game I've ever seen Kyrie play, and probably one of the most necessary times for him to play it. So it's really disappointing to watch him play that bad.
Well,
and DeRozan played really well too, especially considering he was very assertive. He only shot 1 3-pointer. That's
good.
Weird.
Well, good,
yeah, exactly.
Because he can't. But
yeah,
I mean,
he jacks him up like Kobe used to before he got a shot. When he got old and he had to have a jump shot.
Yeah,
it just, I don't know. But when he's assertive, he gets to the line. He shot 9 free throws.
Yeah.
That means other guys have foul trouble. That's good. You get the starters out. That's what you want DeMar DeRozan to do.
And
Use your athleticism.
He made some crazy layups through traffic.
Fuck yeah!
It was.
The dude can finish.
He was
with
fun
the
to
best
watch. Yeah, he was fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, he's like the Peter North of basketball when it comes to finishing.
The Raptors clearly outclassed talent-wise have looked honestly like garbage for most of the playoffs, but they only won 1 game less than the Cavaliers in the regular season. They can play very well, but the Cavaliers have a gear that's above and beyond what the Raptors can do. The Cavaliers' ceiling is so high, and the Raptors, at their best, are about just below where the Cavaliers are. So when So when the Raptors look like garbage and the Cavaliers take it to another level, they should get blown out every single game. But we see the other night when the Raptors play well and Cleveland plays a little more mediocre. I mean, anything can happen. The Raptors
they
can
won-
make some
I mean-
shots. They won handily. It
They won
wasn't.
by 15, and
Yeah.
it should have been like 20-25.
Yeah.
But some threes went in, and fouls here and there. But LeBron is on like a historic pace for shooting percentage from a wing player or something. He's doing ridiculous. He shot 9 for 17, which is still really good.
The Cavs this playoffs, the first 10 games of the playoffs are like doing some historic run. I was reading about it. I don't know, but their shooting
Tyronn
percentage.
Lue was the
and-
first to ever win that many in a row for first appearance in the playoffs as a coach or something.
Yeah.
Now, for my money, LeBron James is the best player in the playoffs. Apologies to Russell Westbrook and I don't know, some guy named Steph Curry who he's been healthy now, but we're only seeing flashes of what he's done in the regular season. LeBron James is doing something otherworldly right now. He runs every facet of what the Cavaliers do. It's incredible to watch him. We're seeing he gets the basket at will. It's unbelievable what he's doing. He's looking as good as he ever has. He's not the great shooter that he was for periods in Miami, but oh my God, that guy imposes his will in the game. He is the Cavaliers. No disrespect to Kyrie Irving, of course, who's been marvelous.
Kyrie played well except for yesterday. I think that was the first really bad game that he played in a long time. Sometimes he has bad Kyrie, similar to bad Westbrook, only without the turnovers necessarily. He's more just missing a lot of like mid-range shots because he doesn't insert himself in the paint, which is weird to watch for a guy that can finish anytime he wants to. But I think before we move on, I want to talk about Bismack Biyombo one more time because I was looking at his contract situation. He's actually an unrestricted free agent because he's got a player option right now. If he plays like 1 or 2 more good games, dude's gonna get paid so much money. He's gonna get Tristan Thompson money.
That's exactly what it is.
Who has been abysmal in the playoffs.
Yeah. I think that he's going to be another Tristan Thompson. It's going to be a guy that's going to get paid to come in and rebound and play defense. And I mean, a couple games I don't think is enough to give him that much money personally.
Yeah, Bismack Biyombo has not even started for most of his tenure.
Yeah, I know.
He's starting because Valanciunas is out. So it's amazing. We're going to see this guy at, let's say, $15 million a year, which is, about Tristan Thompson money. He could be
too much.
Well, it
It's way too
probably
much.
is, but I mean, that's just what happens when you.
I know.
Well, he's one of the best rim defenders in the league at a time when rim defenders are not deemed as important as they used to be. The guy has stone hands. He gets rebounds, but God help the guy if someone passes him the ball. He looks terrified. He reminds me of Kendrick Perkins because he's thinking so hard that he's probably going to shuffle his feet and possibly take 8 steps.
He's way better than Kendrick Perkins.
Well, he is.
I hate Kendrick Perkins.
He is,
He's the worst.
but-
He's just humongous. That was the best part about him.
He can break people.
Yeah. Well, I saw them in transition a couple games ago. Maybe it was game 1, and Patrick Patterson passes the ball to a trailing Bismack Biyombo for some reason, and Bismack Biyombo just he's clueless. He's never caught the ball in space before. He tries to dribble. He dribbled the ball off his foot, and that was it. Like, the guy is so clumsy. He's starting to look competent with the ball in his hands, but it's taken a while to get there. Credit to the guy for being playable, because I thought he'd never be an NBA player because he came out of the league really tall and blocking shots and getting some rebounds, but not able to hold on to the ball or make a layup. So yeah, credit to the guy. He can get up there and dunk. He's catching the ball now with in his hands.
In his hands?
In his hands.
As opposed to his giant teeth?
Yeah, that's about it. He had to catch the ball like a shark, like just latch onto it. So credit to the guy. He's been a monster on defense for some of these games. It was interesting. The Cavaliers have been getting to the basket at will against the Raptors. Maybe as an overcompensation, Bismack Biyombo has been frantic on the perimeter, trying to cover all these three-point shooters on the Cavaliers. And so he overplays them, and they run right past him, and they score at the rim. We saw that in Game 1 to an absurd degree.
Yeah.
Now, Bismack Biyombo stayed home a little bit more, stayed in the paint a little bit more, and he
himself
reaped
4
the rewards.
blocks.
Yep, there it is. And
two on Kyrie, 1 on LeBron James, and 1 that probably shouldn't have counted on Tristan Thompson's only a field goal attempt.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the guy makes his presence known. Go ahead, Ryan.
I think that just those 4 blocks doesn't even do half of what he actually did on defense. He was disrupting a lot of plays besides just the 4 blocks he got. So I think just besides the 4 blocks, he had a really great defensive game.
Plus, he did the finger wag.
He did the finger wag.
How do we feel about that?
House.
How do we feel about that?
Well, he's also from Africa,
Dikembe
and he's also from Africa, and as a white American male, I don't know the difference between any of those countries. so it's acceptable. People do that all the time. Ever since Mutombo did it, people would do that. Didn't Jordan do that after he blocked Mutombo once?
Yeah, but
sure
that
he
was
did,
Michael
yeah.
Jordan was Michael Jordan, and Bismack Biyombo is Bismack Biyombo.
Right, but he has a better name than Michael Jordan. Objectively, it's better.
Well, of course, no one would argue that, but Michael Jordan.
Only fools.
Bismack Biyombo, he might get $15 million a year, but he's still kind of a joke. Dikembe Mutombo won 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards, one of the all-time greats, was a monster. I
don't think Mutombo ever looked like he didn't know how to play basketball. How about
no,
that?
yeah, and Bismack Biyombo dribbles the ball off his foot, and Dikembe Mutombo blocked shots into the stratosphere. Had blocked 4 shots a game.
There's still some in low Earth orbit just waiting to burn up in the atmosphere.
Yeah. Also, I have to say, Dikembe Mutombo had longer fingers, and that finger wag looked really intimidating.
I will say,
Bismack
no one
Biyombo's
out
looks a
finger
little
wags
forced.
Mutombo. It does. It does.
Yeah,
It's not.
It's a little forced. It's a bit of a cheap gimmick, and I gotta say, I think he should cool it a little bit until he's closer to the same level. It was cute once or twice, but
Exactly.
Whoa, Bismack Biyombo. David says, "Cool it on your finger wags."
I stand by it. I hope he sees this. I'll say
man.
to his face.
Hot take. The hottest take.
The hottest take.
I guess we'll end coverage on that series with the hottest take of the year so far. And we'll move on to the Golden State Warriors and Oklahoma City Thunder. Ryan, as a Thunder fan, how large was your erection during this game?
Oh my God. I'm sitting in the bar, right?
Right, yeah.
B-dubs to be exact. I had myself a summer shandy and a Jack Daddy burger. And
As you do.
I don't know how many times I had to go to the bathroom
Love
to
a
finish
summer
and clean
shandy.
up because it was
Whatever
ridiculous. You don't know what a summer shandy is?
That sounds like it could be a citrusy beer, but
It's a line in Kugels, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, line in Kugels.
It tastes like a little bit like lemonade.
Looking for sponsors, Liney's.
Right.
I'll drink a summer shandy, even though I don't like them on air every time. Yeah, every episode of this. But yeah, so the Thunder destroyed the Golden State Warriors almost by 30 points. It was 133 to 105. It looked like just 2 totally different teams came out for Game 3. It looks like they swapped jerseys almost. Because and Oklahoma leads the series, by the way, and I still didn't think that they had genuinely outplayed the Warriors either game. I thought maybe it was close, even though the game they won, it wasn't like a 1-point win. It was, this was a trouncing. This was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Durant with 33, Westbrook with 30, and then you have, I can't believe I'm saying this, Andre Roberson made shots.
And more than just 2 of them.
He made so many shots that he scored 13 points.
Yes.
Can you even imagine? That's 5 whole shots plus some free throws.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Ryan, I'm so sorry we cut you off, but we want to hear more about your erection. Tell us more about your experience watching this game.
Yes, because I would genuinely like to hear that, especially because we talked about penis transplants last episode, and I feel like your erection may give those without some hope.
Well, a funny story about that. It got so large that it actually blew up, and I had to have a penis transplant. So
It's gonna.
now I have a new one.
What was the time on that penis transplant?
Right,
The
Was
time it took to transplant it?
No, well, yeah, because for those who don't remember last episode, the sport of penis transplanting kind of works like a NASCAR pit crew. So the time is very important. We want to see where you rank among other penis transplants.
Right. So, well, my friends just saw that it had blown off and grabbed the closest penis they could find and put it on, and it took about 23 seconds. So,
Wow. So how close was the closest penis they could find, and where did they find it?
the closest table, which was right to the left of us, actually.
I'm very interested in this bar you go to. What was that? B-dubs?
That was B-dubs. Yep. Yeah, they
Shout
got
out B-dubs and their penis transplant.
instead of like popcorn or peanuts, they just got
Oh,
wieners.
that was my next question.
Popcorn or peanuts. Also on the in the dick discussion, I think we could just talk about this now since it's what
boy.
everyone's talking
Elephant
about anyway.
in the room.
We'll the elephant dick in the room. We'll go back to the stats and we'll talk about the actual game after this discussion. But I feel like this is more important, more prescient. So Steven Adams, who is probably very well hung, according to himself. He has many interviews in which he mentions his penis. He also thinks that Enes Kanter has a huge dong, which is interesting. And maybe there's evidence to support that. Who knows? But he's a tall man. He's almost 7 feet tall. He might have a giant dick.
No,
but,
Steven Adams, sure, but not Enes Kanter. But carry on.
Okay, so Steven Adams and his giant dong, and his boys there. All of the testicles that he has, maybe 2, probably 3, they got kicked by Draymond Green, hailing from actually myself and Ryan's home county, Saginaw. What represent
the Sag Nasty?
Raise the roof.
The real 989 over here. Yeah.
There we are. Anyways, Steven Adams got kicked in the nuts pretty hard by Draymond Green, and there's been some controversy about this. Now, in the game, it was a flagrant 1 foul, so there was free throws ahead, and but some people like it. I've seen so many vines of this fucking kick. Basically, Draymond Green commonly kicks his leg out when trying to draw a foul, or just because it's a habit or something. Kind of like Dirk, only in crotch distance of someone else. And after the game, it gets reviewed, and it gets turned to a flagrant 2, which should have meant an ejection in game.
Mm-hmm.
But then they don't suspend the guy for the following game.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts?
Well, I've thought more about Steven Adams' nuts than I have maybe anything else for the last couple of days. Now,
it happened less than 24 hours ago, so a couple of days. You've been thinking about his nuts for a couple days.
Well, he preempted. Well, game 2 he got hit in the nuts too.
My
right.
my nut senses were tingling beforehand.
His jinglies
Gotcha.
were jangling.
Yeah, they sure were,
jangling.
Jake. I have so many thoughts about this. Well, Draymond Green likes creating contact. He is a very physical guy. He harasses people on defense. He throws elbows. He thrusts his hips out on screens. He's a hip thruster. He also kicks his leg up, maybe to head height on like he's doing the can. Every single time he makes contact. He's a very flexible guy. He gets that leg up there. He is used to kicking his leg up every single time he makes contact. We've all seen the videos that have come out. Yeah. So I played basketball in high school. Not very well, but I did play. I got playing time. I was on the floor.
Dabbled in basketball.
I threw a lot of. I couldn't shoot the ball, so to compensate, I threw a lot of elbows. I threw some hands out there. I didn't always know where those hands were gonna go, but I knew they might connect with someone. So I know that I wasn't always thinking when I was trying to play physical the consequences of what were gonna happen. It was a split-second thing. Now, Draymond Green kicks his leg up. He's not sure where it's going to go, but he's sure hoping it hits the other guy so it can ensure that he gets a foul called. Now, he did know immediately that he hit Steven Adams in the nuts, and he sure didn't apologize or make anything of it and tried to play it off. If he had any concerns about it, he might have apologized. I don't know. That's not really Draymond Green's style.
No, especially not during a game.
No. Well, so I can understand that, and I've seen that as a criticism. Like, if he didn't want to, he would have apologized. I call bullshit. But I also know that now we've done this Zapruder film style, like we're watching John F. Kennedy's brains getting blown out. The video has captured Draymond Green's eyes on Steven Adams' groin the entire time in slow motion as his leg propels up into his groin. Now,
I've also seen a video saying that it's mathematically impossible for the leg to have hit Steven Adams in the junk, and there's like axes and vertices and like a protractor.
Well, I gotta say,
like average dick length and the nuts, and like it's crazy.
Now, Steven Adams could hang a little low. It's not out of the question.
He's humongous, man.
Draymond Green,
and he's a Kiwi.
Draymond Green did not hit him right in the pelvis. He hit him wherever he was hanging. I buy it. I don't think Steven Adams was faking it. He did get him. He got him with the shin, not the foot, though. That's worth pointing out. Is that better or worse?
It's better. It's way better.
Yeah,
because that foot drives it up and into your taint. Yeah, we've all been hitting the balls, but I don't think it was like a flush, like squish into the groin sort of kick. It clearly tapped the bottom of his balls, and his balls bounced. But
and that's where the hurt comes from, right there.
Oh, the hurt was definitely real. I mean, if it was a flop, it would have taken just a second longer, I think.
I agree.
But he's immediately, like, he's in the air and his hands start going towards his dick. We all know that. And he winces and he falls over and he, like, holds himself. And and you look at Steven Adams and you're like, oh, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Now, the question, of course, is, like, it's probably impossible to know whether Draymond Green intended to hit him in the nuts. He probably didn't have time to really think it over. He just threw his leg up, and nuts be damned. I'm kicking my leg up, and I'm getting this foul call. That's Draymond Green's way. Should he be suspended? Now, Dwayne Wade, in 2012, at the end of a foul call, kicks his leg up, hits Raymond Session in the nuts. It looked a little similar. He dramatically kicks his leg up. He gets suspended for 1 game. 2015, James Harden gets knocked on the floor by LeBron James. Kicks his leg up. Now, this looked a little more blatant, but James Harden does get suspended from a regular season game for kicking LeBron James in the nuts. So, Draymond...
Wait, there was one more just recently. Dante Jones.
Yes.
Well, Dante Jones threw a punch that I do not buy that they are comparable.
That was Biombo's, right? That was Biombo's junk?
That was, yep. I think so.
Biombo's junk
considerable
also is
junk.
named Biombo.
Oh, yeah. That's Big Biombo and Big Biombo. Now, so Draymond Green, in a just and fair world, to discourage from this sort of reckless behavior, probably should be suspended for the sake of consistency and for the sake of discouraging this sort of recklessness in the future. But should Draymond Green be suspended? Absolutely not. We must throw out moral consideration and we must see the best playoff game possible. I do not give a shit. I want to see a full Golden State Warriors team play a full Oklahoma City Thunder team. It is essential. Well, it benefits the Thunder too because they do not want an asterisk next to their victory, which sure might happen.
That's asterisk. I hear you, but they still have Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Bogut, Harrison Barnes, Andre Iguodala, Maurice Spates has played well. Like, it wouldn't be that big of a asterisk. It would be one, I guess, but no one remembers that 6 years from now when
I'm
you're
sorry.
looking at the Thunder trophy room, like, oh, that's the one where Draymond Green got suspended for one single game.
This
I
one doesn't
disagree.
count.
He still gets to come back if
No.
he's not getting suspended, but he would still get to come back even if they won and they'd be down 3-1. That's happened before. The Pistons beat the Magic before. Plenty of teams have come back 3-1. If any team could do it, it's the one that broke the all-time single seasons win record. So I don't know if the asterisk would be that fucking large.
It would
on
be.
it. It's not like he's lost for the series.
It would be relevant for a while at least. Now, Draymond
guess.
Green was 7th in MVP voting. He is a bona fide superstar. Was an all-star. Is the second best player on that team. Sorry, Klay Thompson. You can shoot real nice, and you're a good defender, but Draymond Green is Draymond Green.
Do you think if Klay Thompson shaved or let it grow out, he would be the number 2 player?
But his nuts or his face? I'm sorry.
I thought we were talking about pubes too.
Well, Klay Thompson's nuts probably also have a goatee, but I would really appreciate
And
if he
it's
shaved
gorgeous.
his face or let the beard grow out, because we described it like he looks like he always goes home and dresses up like a vampire, but like a Blade vampire, not like a cool one. Like,
I'm sorry. You think Klay Thompson dresses like the cool vampire?
no,
Okay, good.
Blade is not the cool vampire. He looks like he goes home and cosplays Blade.
I could see that. Yeah.
I'm Blade.
So even
And Steph Curry calls him up like, dude, you're not Blade.
It's like 3 a.m. He's like, we have a game tomorrow. You need to sleep.
Can we please not do this anymore? Like, Aisha's trying to sleep. You're over here doing Blade things. Like, don't you have your own family?
Right.
I'm Blade, also Wesley Snipes. And then he comes back the next day dressed up like Tu Wong Fu, which is the movie where Wesley Snipes cross-dressed with Kurt Russell. Or was it the other one? Was it Patrick Swayze?
same thing.
Patrick Swayze's a dead person now, though, so it doesn't really count.
Vampires aside, we can come back to this because it is important. But before we get too far away from Draymond Groin,
Ooh, yes.
Russell
I like
Westbrook and Draymond Green have had a war of words in the media today. Draymond Green blamed Russell Westbrook for starting this whole acting thing that those superstars do, because he said, well, sure, I tried to kick my leg up to create contact.
Sure.
Now, he said Russell Westbrook started this whole acting thing. Russell
second.
Westbrook, go ahead.
Wait, hold on. Has he not watched Manu Ginobili, who is the best flopper of all time, or like, I don't know, Michael Jordan?
He did not blame, he singled out Russell Westbrook, but he talked about these, basically he blamed these superstars.
The superstars.
He's one of
yeah.
them.
Now, so yeah, he definitely is, but he did come after your LeBron Jameses, your James Hardenses, and and of course Russell Westbrook.
The Russell
and Kevin Durant.
Westbrookses.
Yeah, so Russell Westbrook definitely karate kicks some people. He flies on 3-pointers. Steph Curry shoots a set shot. Russell Westbrook elevates like he's in 0 G's, and he kicks his foot up, and he'll hit a guy in the stomach. Now, Russell Westbrook has not hit a guy in the nuts yet, but the way he kicks his leg out, it's gonna happen. Now, Russell,
This one, it's different, man. Green did it in game 2 with his knee, kind of on purpose, although I think Adams probably didn't get hit as much as he got hit this time. But, I mean, clearly Adams is in his head, right? I mean, Draymond Green went 1 for 9. He only had, 4 rebounds, 4 turnovers, and 6 points. Steven Adams, who was on him only for 17 minutes, by the way, had 5 rebounds, a block, and 8 points.
Draymond Green was overall embarrassed the other night, in addition to kicking another man in the testicles, which is not a good look. Point taken.
He got blocked 3 times, dude.
Well, he's not very tall for playing
Once by
power forward
Adams and
and
twice
center.
by Ibaka, if I remember correctly. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know, but
well-
still, I mean, Ibaka, do you know his plus minus, just off the top of your head?
I'm going to guess plus 40.
Plus 42.
Wow.
That is impressive.
insane.
Now,
That is
so
insane.
I think Draymond Green, plus minus champion Draymond Green was over 1,000 plus, in the plus in the positive for the
he was
season.
negative 43.
Now, that is...
Definitely not over 1,000. That's
I can't stop thinking about that number. Plus 1,000 in the regular season, minus 43 in a major playoff game. That makes me a little bit happy. I of course, love Draymond Green. That is no secret on this podcast.
I love watching Draymond Green play. Let's not get that, wrong. But God damn it, dude, don't kick a dude in the nuts. That's not just a rule in the NBA. That's bro code. You don't violate bro code. That's like when Derek Fisher fucked that one dude, that really scary dude with the neck tattoos. That looks horrifying.
Chris Anderson, the Birdman.
No, he didn't fuck his girlfriend. The other guy. He actually was on the Warriors for a while, I think. But
Matt Barnes.
Matt Barnes, that guy. He's fucking
guy,
scary. Yeah, he fucked
scary.
that guy's wife or girlfriend.
He's stabbed
or something.
like 5 people in his career. Go on.
Yeah, he's just a horrifying person. Anyways, even though Matt Barnes is garbage, Derek Fisher, you don't bang his lady. Like that's bro code. He was the coach. That's so fucked up. This is on par with that. You hit another man in the nuts. That's like fucking his wife.
I was not consulted when we wrote this bro code. I don't know if I care for this rule. Well, I probably wouldn't hit a guy in the nuts. But anything can happen in the heat of the moment, if in a split-second decision, and you don't know that you're going for a guy. Now, Draymond Green,
an accidental nutter. Everyone's done it to everyone's that's fine.
Of course.
This didn't look very accidental. I'm not saying he meant to kick him directly in the nuts. I'm saying he meant to kick him.
Oh, of course.
And if the nuts happen to be there, bonus. But the mentality there is anti-bro code, and I just like.
Oh,
as a member of that community, I cannot abide.
I am now on record as saying Draymond Green, by any sense of justice or morality, should be suspended. I'm glad.
I don't think he should be suspended. I think right before tip-off, Steven Adams should get one free shot, and not like a kick. I don't want television. I don't want to kick. I just want the fucking the Peter tap where he gets. He doesn't follow through. He doesn't slam it up. He just gets a pat.
Yep.
No one,
and then it's good, and then it's a wash, and everyone's cool.
They shake hands, and they get the game going.
It's all good, and it's before the game starts, so it's like not going to affect anything later.
Yep.
Like it could be warm ups even. Just
now,
one free one.
Do you still start Draymond Green after the Peter tap, or do you give him a couple minutes?
Well, you start him. I think because Adams had to play as well. Adams actually started the game, but then they ended up doing the small ball with Dion Waiters, and that actually worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
Which I think is what we should talk about now instead of dicks for a little bit. Because I think the small lineup, which hasn't been very efficient, actually worked really well this night.
The Thunder beat the Warriors at their own game.
I know.
It's unbelievable. Well, just one round ago, the Thunder went big and beat the Spurs at their own game, who quite notoriously ran out 2 7-footers for most of the season and dominated everyone on the glass and just looked huge. Now, the Thunder were too big, too athletic for the Spurs. Their big guys were dominant. Now, fast forward to this round, the Thunder go small and run the ball down the Warriors' throats, score 35 points in transition against the Warriors, who thrive on chaos and a fast game. It's
exactly, and I think it's also important. It's important to point out that Enes Kanter came off the bench and got a double-double. By the way, he had 10 points and 12 rebounds. That's huge. He was a negative 17 overall, but he's out with the second unit. That's huge. He out-rebounded everyone on the starting lineup for the Warriors. By the way, who got out-rebounded as a team 38-52. I mean, that tells the story right there, right?
That's probably one of the biggest factors in the entire game. And I think the Warriors have been struggling with the Thunder's bigs this entire series. And particularly last night's game, it really showed.
Yeah, I agree. And also, if they're not hitting three-pointers, it doesn't make up for the lack. They shot 30% from three, while the Thunder shot 32. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so much. And the Thunder shot 50% from inside the three-point line. Amazing.
So I'd love to talk about the Warriors offense for a second, because what's happened for a couple seasons now is that what is a bad shot for any other team is a good shot for the Warriors because they shoot
Caught
so
up
well.
to him.
Now, Steph Curry can launch a bomb without hardly setting his feet from 30 feet away. Now, Steve Kerr, who visibly pulls his hair out on the sideline, has to concede because Steph Curry can make it. And the Warriors, they pass recklessly. Klay Thompson shoots similarly to Steph Curry. So what happens when the Warriors can't get these shots to fall, or if a team as athletic as the Thunder are locked in?
I'll tell you what, they lose by 28.
Yeah. And we're down by
There it is.
40 something at some
That's
point.
exactly what happens because they go so fast. I mean, they play like the Suns from the mid 2000s. They just go down and shoot, which is why the Thunder out rebounded them so much and also had so many field goal. They had 92 field goal attempts each, but they're shooting so quickly that the Thunder get to go down, take better shots. Because by the way, the Warriors shot 8 more 3-pointers than the Thunder. On top of that, obviously, if their 3-pointers aren't going down, they have to go inside. And now the Thunder have 8 blocks. You know what I mean? That's 16 points. That's just 16 points, assuming all of those were made. That's half of your makeup right there, not including the fact that they only shot 30% from 3, which is weird. Steph Curry went 3 for 11. That doesn't happen. He should have made at least 4 more of those.
Yeah, well, there's the thing. He might do so in the future. That still doesn't make up 28 points, but it's a start. That'd be closer to what
everyone
we
else
expect from
played
the
poorly
Warriors.
because he did. I mean, Draymond Green was the big downer there. 1 for 9's awful. He
got-
was the Kevin Love of this game.
Absolutely. You know, he's now Draymond is a freak in some ways, but he is not a freak quick athlete that Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant are, and even Deion Waiters was blowing past him. Serge Ibaka is faster than him in the open floor. I love Draymond, but he is getting run off the floor right now. Now, I have
Bogut actually had a worse time because
also,
Bogut couldn't stay on the floor because they went small ball.
and
That
Bogut
hurts.
is a dinosaur, so
Yeah.
he's a very
Well,
smart guy.
He didn't even play 12 minutes. He played 11 minutes and 44 seconds.
Yeah.
That's crazy for probably one of the best true centers in the game right now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's what, number 3 or 4?
Oh, well, he's a very smart defender. He catches the lob. He's a great passer.
Yeah.
He blocks shots, but hey, he's really slow, and today's game is really fast.
Exactly. So Ryan, what can the Thunder do to keep this going? Is it Andre Roberson? Like, is that the guy? Because he's the one that's unexpected. Like, he's starting for some reason. I don't get it. I feel like I like Waiters more. I have no idea why they keep putting the dude out there, but it seems to be working. Is he like some amazing defender suddenly?
I think that Roberson playing the way he is definitely helps the Thunder out a lot, and I can see where you're coming with Dion probably starting, but I think having Dion in the second lineup is pretty helpful as a scoring option.
Yeah.
Also, the Thunder just need to keep this pace up. Watching that game, it was fast paced. They were having fun, throwing lobs and monstrous dunks, and I think that's what really makes them that team that they were last night. Just that fast paced basketball.
Yeah, and it's also important that Westbrook and Durant were super efficient. Durant only missed 5 total shots, and Westbrook went 10 for 19, so over 50%. And between the two of them, they shot 8 3-pointers, and they only made 2 of them. But that's still better than Westbrook trying to go shot for shot with Curry, which is what he likes to do, which he hasn't been doing. And again, dude got 12 more assists. He had 8 rebounds, 2 steals. He had 4 turnovers, but once you have 4 turnovers with your 12 assists, that's a great ratio. So, I mean, and he's the best player in the NBA right now in the playoffs that's not named LeBron, I think. He's just playing his mind out right now.
I completely agree. I'd love to bring up Klay Thompson, who, of course, is an all-star. He's a brilliant shooter. Now, here's the thing, though.
I like his game.
No, well,
the more I watch him, the less I like it. It's boring.
It's been rough. The guy, if his feet are even remotely set, any shot he takes is going to be a good shot. But here's the thing. the guy in this series, as overwhelming as the Thunder defense has been, which is weird because they were not so locked in this season, but in against a team as good as the Thunder are playing on defense, Klay Thompson has been putting the ball on the floor on like in ISO possessions. Now, Klay Thompson, he's not so terrible attacking off the dribble, but he's not so good either. And an average offensive play is bad for the Warriors. And Klay Thompson, do not dribble the ball. Do not try and drive. Do not get the ball moving. He has no business trying to go one-on-one against anyone.
He shot 19 times. That was he tied Westbrook, and he scored half the points basically. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't like it. He stagnates their offense if they get into a set.
Absolutely,
and it's rough to watch. Curry cannot keep playing games with these single-digit assists though. This is 3 in a row that he's had single-digit assists, and Westbrook's had 3 games with 12 or something like that. He's got to distribute the ball. You're the point guard. I know you're a shoot first point guard, and that's fine. He's still going to get his 17, 18 to 25 shots. That's fine. But those other times you got to be pick and roll. You got to be setting other dudes up. And I understand that probably some of those assists are because dudes missed. Probably Draymond Green might have had 6 or 7 assists. But man, Westbrook is just straight up outplaying you. On top of that, guys like Klay Thompson, who are out there for most of the game, although he only played 24 minutes in this one, he only had 1 rebound, 1 assist, no steals, 3 turnovers, no blocks. He's got nothing in the stat sheet besides points and attempts. You gotta be more than just an offensive player. You gotta play every facet, and that's how you succeed. Every single player that besides Randy Foye, Cameron Payne, and Anthony Morrow had rebounds on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, you know what I mean? Like Harrison Barnes, Festus Ezeli, Anderson Varejao, Maurice Spates, and Leandro Barbosa aren't getting rebounds. That's 3 centers that aren't getting rebounds for your team, and a power forward.
I'd love to talk about Steph Curry's lack of distributing. Now, last year, he averaged about an assist and a half more a game than he is this year. Yeah. And, there's probably...
showed, though. I mean, he was jacking all sorts of threes up this year.
Steph is... His powers were still developing, and he realized, oh, hey, I'm a freak. Me shooting the ball is a little more productive than me passing the ball, so maybe I'll shoot the ball more. And he did, and he was better, obviously, this season than last season, unbelievably. Sure. But if you're getting frustrated, if you can't get shots to fall, if you're against a team like the Thunder, you got to figure something out. Get your team going, because when your team gets going, we saw the Warriors offense fluidly passing the ball. Now, they need Steph Curry to help them do that right now. He's the best player on the team. He's the best ball handler. He's the best creator. And obviously, Draymond Green isn't going to do it. Your best player has to do it, and Steph Curry isn't doing it.
Yeah, I mean, the point guard's job, even if he's a shoot first point guard like Russell Westbrook is, you still have to distribute when it's not your turn. You got to set other guys up. Instead, he's jacking shots up, which is not a good thing. Steph Curry normally hits those, but even if he hits every shot, they don't win this game. So it's kind of one of those things where you got to continue to move the ball around because you got plenty of guys on that team that can score. Andre Iguodala playing 24 minutes and only shooting 5 times is kind of weird. That shouldn't happen, I don't think. I feel like that guy should get more shots. Obviously, Andrew Bogut should be way more involved. It shouldn't just be the Steph Curry and Klay Thompson show. Get the other guys going. Have some other guys in double-digit shots. Oklahoma City had 4 guys with double-digit shot attempts, and Cantor had 9. The only 2 guys in double digits were Thompson and Curry for the Warriors. That tells you pretty much what you're going to expect. And then Draymond Green had 9, but only made 1 because he was garbage and getting outplayed down low. I'm such a basketball purist because I grew up with Pistons teams. So I've always had this really slick team game thing going. So I always hate to watch stagnant offenses. And man, when you got a guy like Curry who can penetrate and pop and like dish it out, man, that's all you got to do. And Klay Thompson will get going, and then you'll get going because you're excited for everybody else, and then you just trash everyone because you're the two best players on the court sometimes.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the things I want to talk about with the Thunder, because watching them last night, it was like the Warriors were trying to handle their athleticism, but you have Westbrook driving hard to the paint, and if he doesn't see something, he's kicking it out. And
right.
And then it goes to Durant. Durant does the same thing. And that's how guys like Roberson and Ibaka and Cantor are getting these beautiful medium-range jump shots and three-pointers, because the defense is crashing on Westbrook and Durant driving to the lane, and as soon as they kick it out, those are wide-open shots every time.
Yeah, and the problem is with Klay Thompson's game, he's not much of a slasher. He can finish, but he's certainly not Durant Westbrook. And, I mean, Curry, while he can finish in there, is just a finesse guy. I say just a finesse guy. He's one of the best finesse guys in the league. But it doesn't really help you play that game as much as a guy who can really elevate and make interior defenders worry as much. Because if he does that scoop shot that just rainbows in, you can't really defend it anyways, so you can kind of cheat a little bit to another guy, as opposed to Westbrook, who's going to go in and throw the fucking hammer down and then like come on a picture of your mom and send it to you.
Scream and he's like, just going to yell really loud,
rape your dog, and then like I don't know,
take a poop on the logo in the center court and walk out of there.
He just goes in to kill, and it's great. It's so great to watch. Man, I really like this series. I hope it goes 7 games, and I hope the Thunder win. And I hope the Thunder win because I feel like at this point, the matchups look better for a Cavs series. I feel like it'd just be a bunch of 3-pointers, Cavs Warriors. I feel like Oklahoma City versus Cavs is like super physical.
Yeah, it's going to be an athletic game from both teams, and that's the series I'm really hoping for at this point.
And it's really interesting because the Steven Adams advantage kind of might disappear a little bit against the Cavs, so it might be interesting.
I am starting to agree that a Thunder Cavs series would be more entertaining and more competitive and more interesting. And it pains me to say that because the Warriors have been so incredible to watch this season. But we've been talking about their offense. And now I talked about Steve Kerr's frustration earlier that they can just dick around and then make an incredible shot. And he just throws his hands up in relief and frustration because they didn't have a good offensive possession. They had Steph Curry.
All right.
Now,
or Klay Thompson sometimes.
Now that's coming around to bite them in the ass because they have not, when they have adversity, when they're playing poor offense, when they're down 10, 15 points, they can score 15 points in 3 minutes with Steph Curry and a run and gun transition game.
Sure.
And of course win the game just because they're the Warriors. But now they've run into a team that's so locked in, that's more athletic than them, and that has 2 of the top 5 players in the game, and they are not rising into the challenge. They have not been asked to rise to the challenge all season. So now I think that the Thunder are just playing better basketball, and that's the team that we should have in the finals if they're going to play better basketball. Unless we see the Warriors rise above this, I am all for the Thunder continuing to grind the Warriors into the ground, but we'll see how it goes. The Warriors were down 2-1 last season too. So
I think there's another reason I want to see the Thunder really, really kind of use the right phrase, grind them into the ground, because I feel like it'll make Steph Curry that much better. And LeBron's getting older, and there's got to be a new king. And if Steph Curry gets the shit kicked out of him like this, I see a lot of Jordan-esque storylines happening, even though he won his championship already and he didn't have to hit this brick wall at the end of the playoffs. If he comes back next year and changes his game even more, the dude might be literally unstoppable. Like everything that's going wrong right now, imagine if he starts to drive a little bit harder to the lane and starts to pop it out a little bit more, and maybe he takes more mid-range shots. And now he's super efficient on offense. And now all it is you can't just, it's not just hope he doesn't make a shit ton of threes. It's hope he doesn't make anything. Because the dude is already great from free throw. He's already great with the ball in his hand. He's already great shooting the ball from pretty much any position. What if he loses this game because Russell Westbrook bulldogs his ass and he decides to adapt to that? Mm-hmm. The man will become the best basketball player of all time and easily pound for pound best basketball player. He will rip the title away from Allen Iverson immediately.
That makes a lot of sense coming from you, Jake, as a Pistons fan. So you know that the Pistons beat the shit out of Michael Jordan in the late 80s and knocked him out of the playoffs a few times. And Michael Jordan had to rise above it. And, of course, we know how that went. He won 6 championships.
Curry's got that sort of thing going on, though, man. He's got that mentality. You can tell he's a killer.
That's the idea that Steph Curry could be humbled by this and that could come back a lot better after the sort of season we just saw from him. Well, Jake, that's terrifying. We're talking about a whole different sport. We're talking about a whole different sport if Steph Curry comes back better.
He was so good they had to change the properties of the new NBA 2K game. Literally, they ran the hashtag change the game because you couldn't match his numbers and still leave everyone where they were at. Like you could change the sliders and sure you could hit his percentages, but everyone else's goes up too. Literally, they didn't have the values in place to allow him to be as good as he is in real life. That's never happened. That just doesn't happen. Video games are supposed to be easier. It's crazy what he did this year. And obviously he's not playing great right now. I think Russell Westbrook is grinding him down because I think Westbrook is pretty much the antithesis of Steph Curry, right? But in all the best ways. He's not like bad at any of the things. He's just the opposite. And it's like, man, if he adopts some of Westbrook's game to what he already has, the man will be ridiculous. He'll be insane. It'll be impossible. You could put any other combination of 4 players on the court with him, and I don't think he'll lose games. And like if he wants to win them.
Yeah, and I think it's not just Steph Curry that's having that mentality. I think that the Warriors in general losing is going to make them a better team. It's going to make them come together, and it's going to make them want championships.
I'd like to see Klay Thompson turn into a, much more well-rounded. He was a 3-and-D guy that turned into a mid-range 3-and-D guy. But I'd like to see him add like rebounding specifically to his game and distribution.
Yeah, rebounding and assists are 2 things that if Klay adds to his game are going to push him over the top of some of the best shooting guards.
Can you imagine those 3 guys on the same team for as long as they're going to be? Curry, Thompson, and Green, if they all improve after getting outplayed, like they're not just losing. It's not like they're losing the game. They're being outplayed by a better team right now. Hopefully this continues because I'd really like to see the Thunder in because I think they deserve it at this point. But they beat the Spurs and they're going to go beat the Warriors if they do. Like that's amazing.
Yeah.
But man. The thought of watching the possible evolution of Steph Curry into the basketball player that he could be after this makes me really, really root for the Thunder even more.
Yeah,
it's amazing that, the Warriors won 73 games, only lost 9 games. They probably needed to receive a few more smackdowns in the regular season, face some adversity, realize that they can't just rely on Steph Curry turning into a god once a game. Now, the Thunder, on the other hand, they bickered. They played poor defense.
They had that coaching change, which probably was a big reason. But damn it, if Donovan isn't out coaching everyone right now, like he's out coaching Kerr, right?
Oh, absolutely.
By far.
Well, Kerr hasn't had to do as much coaching as Billy Donovan. And now the Warriors are paying for it. The Thunders have learned this season. The Warriors are learning just now. And we'll see if it's too late for them.
I really want to see the Thunder push their way through this series.
Obviously.
And eventually beat the Cavs. Because I think if the championship doesn't happen this year,
Durant's gone.
Probably Durant's leaving, and the championship is not in the near future for the Thunder. So this is the year.
Right.
They have the roster for it.
Man, it just seems like they're starting to have so much damn fun now. Like, it's hard for me to imagine Kevin Durant leaving after the effort they've put forth, beating the Spurs and really giving it to Golden State, even if they lose in 7, like at this point, it just seems like he's coming back. But I could be wrong, of course. But him and Westbrook are like best friends. That's tough to move away from, man. Even if championships are your thing, take less money, get another guy to come to you, and not leave what you made. Because I think at first it might have been the Billy Donovan thing. Like, okay, maybe I'm considering changing because he's a good coach, came from Florida and all that shit. But it's Billy Donovan, it's not my guy. This is all different. And they were bickering at the beginning, and like they had some problems going on. But then like the Stash Brothers thing happens. And they start getting some cohesion. And I'm not even kidding. Like that's a silly thing between Enes Kanter and Steven Adams. But I mean that kind of bro out stuff really does help teams. And like you saw it with the Boston Red Sox years ago when they did the beard thing, and they all would tug on each other's beards. I mean, it just felt like they were gonna do it just because of how much fun they had with each other. And the Giants before that, and maybe this year again. It seems like every even year they win a World Series, but doesn't it feel like it's their turn at this point just to get there? I don't know if they'll win, but it just like the way the ebb and flow of the season has gone and the storyline, it just always seems like one of these teams happens in all the major sports every year. It'll be like the Panthers in the NFL last year. It just like, we all knew. Yeah, they had that swag and they might lose, but they'll get there. Or any of the baseball teams of the past, or just NHL teams like the Penguins or last year the Lightning, they just get going and it just feels like, this is that team now. This is when they finally cohere. And if Kevin Durant leaves, it changed, especially if he goes east, which I don't think he will. I think he's going to go to the Spurs if he leaves. But man, that changes the entire complexion of the NBA. Just one guy, right?
Yeah, for sure. Him and any other team will feel, I don't know, awkward for me. And I've been a Durant fan since he entered the league, and
as a Sonic,
yeah. And
so I guess it's important to know that while Ryan is a dirty fucking bandwagon fan, at least he was on the shitty bandwagon first. He was on the shit like Oregon Trail, like some of us die and get dysentery bandwagon.
Jake, I don't get
Jake,
this.
have you ever?
Just because
I don't think you know what Seattle is, Jake. But go on, Ryan.
Just because I was a Patriots fan, and then I was a Broncos fan, and now I'm a Panthers fan. I don't think that makes me a bandwagon fan. No, no, I'm a
that's
Lions
not true.
fan for
None
sure.
of that's true. Yeah, it sucks being a Lions fan, so I feel you there. But fuck you, yay Pistons. So is there anything else we want to cover with this game and this matchup? Because man, like looking forward, it just seems like I'm so excited about the Westbrook stuff. Like, I think if Durant leaves, Russell Westbrook will average a triple-double. I mean, he'll play 40 minutes a game and get 700 triple-doubles.
That may be true, but of course the Thunder's ceiling drops significantly. Now, Russell Westbrook, of course, will destroy as he always does. But I don't know if Kevin Durant can leave now after we've seen them fulfill their potential. Now that we know, hey, this team is not a waste of potential. They can beat the Spurs and then push the Warriors to the limit. Now, the Warriors could still win this series. They were down 2-1 twice last year. The Thunder have something here. And now that they know for sure, like, hey, we can be the best team in the league, which they have been these last two series. You can't break this up. I'm sorry, Kevin Durant. You're a fool if you leave. I mean,
Dude,
LeBron.
Just think about this. Westbrook, Steven Adams, Serge Ibaka, Kevin Durant, probably Enes Kanter, because all signs point to his defense improving. Because actually, although younger, Steven Adams has come in and really taken Kanter under his wing, and they've been because they're bros. They have literally been training with each other to teach each other's skills. And I'm not kidding. I watched like a 30-minute interview between Steven Adams has been working on his free throws with Kanter. He hit 4 for 6 the other day.
Yeah,
4 for 6. Good for you, Steven Adams. By the way, Adams quickly becoming my favorite player in the NBA.
Adams is an absolute dog, and he's fun to watch. He's
He
aggressive. He's physical. I love him.
I'll trade you Andre Drummond for him.
He's a great interview too. He's a funny guy.
That's why I
super
want to
strong
trade.
accent. You don't really see it until you actually hear him, and you're like, wow.
Literally, the interviews is why I want to trade him to you, or from you, for Drummond. I will also take Cantor though.
Let me call up the
I
Thunder
want
and
both
see
the
what we can
Stash
do.
Bros for Drummond, and then basically every after game is just those two, and they don't field questions. They just talk to each other about whatever they want. That's what I want. And you
Throw
can
in
have
Stan
Andre
Van Gundy, and we're good.
Damn it.
Never.
Man.
He's the most important person on the Detroit Pistons. So
Stan Van
Jake,
Gundy's great.
hang on to him.
He should be a point guard.
Ball handling.
Now, can I break some? I don't know where we were planning on going from here, but the Raptors just beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, so we are at 2-2. So
the Raptors
I mean,
just beat the Cleveland Cavaliers again.
holy shit!
You're
It's
fucking with
breaking.
So, holy shit,
God.
right?
Holy
Wow.
shit is right. 105-99. Wow. This is changing my entire
So
outlook
we've got
on
best
the
of
whole,
three now. Best of three, starting from scratch, pretty much.
And maybe I should look at the box score because I'm pretty sure Valanciunas came back, and maybe that might be the thing that.
Spoiler, Jake. Kyle Lowry
my gosh.
got his swag back.
14
was
for 20.
launching threes with reckless abandon.
Yeah,
And,
actually, they
uh,
didn't play.
Holy
They
cow.
didn't pay Valanciunas because they didn't have to. Looks like.
Well,
But Biyombo played
Biyombo.
41 minutes. Sadly, he only blocked 3 shots and
That's
got
it.
14 rebounds.
That's it.
But
What a-
DeRozan
what a
and Lowry
schmuck.
scored. DeRozan and Lowry scored 32 and 35 points respectively. I guess we could talk about this again since it's coming out. We might as well talk about this game real quick. So let me run down the stats for you guys real quick so you can kind of get a thought because we were talking and not watching the game very closely. LeBron James went 11 for 16, played 45 minutes and 48 seconds. He played every minute. Scored 29 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. The dude is he's so great. Like the dude he's 6 for 6 from free throw. But guess who sucked?
Kevin Love.
Kevin Love.
Yeah.
Kevin Love sucked. 4 for 14, 7 rebounds at least. So that's good. And then Irving went 11 for 21. Thompson's only shot 3 times. Man, Shumpert didn't do shit, which is interesting. And Dellavedova is still playing poorly for some reason. Richard Jefferson still fountain of youth, 8 points. Nothing else in the stat sheet besides an assist, but 8 points nonetheless. So man, DeRozan is starting to look like a legitimate player though. Like he's been just offensive guy pretty much his whole career, but now he's really starting to look. Again, he's not filling up the stat sheet deep, but he's still better than Klay Thompson at it. He's got 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. You know what I mean? Like only 2 turnovers, which is good for a guy that has the ball and shot 23 times. And he only shot 1 3-pointer.
Well, I'd love to see more 3-point attempts from DeMar DeRozan next season, if he can shoot a little better.
Yes.
Because
After he works
honestly,
on it
it's
in the
gonna make
offseason.
it's gonna make the Raptors better if there's the threat of him shooting, because he shoots the 3 like 2-3 times a game, and he's not good enough to shoot that often. So, and honestly, if you're gonna be a shooting guard, in today's NBA, when the 3-point shot rules all, you have to shoot the 3-pointer. Otherwise, I mean, you're gonna, even if you shoot decent from mid-range, which he does, you're gonna hurt your team's spacing and therefore hurt your team's offense. And it's shown in these playoffs.
You know what
So
else is shown? They go how Kyle Lowry goes. It's all on him. Isn't that crazy? He just scores 35 points and they win. In the last game, he played well and they win. Also, Corey Joseph played well again. 4 for 8 points. Got 3 rebounds, 2 assists, stuff like he's just a really, really good player.
he's a great glue guy. Should have been in consideration for 6th man of the year this season, but, well, pretty much 6th man of the year just goes to the bench guy who scores the most. So, whatever.
I'd like to add that in a post-game interview with Lowry, he credits Biyombo for everything. his ability to guard LeBron James, and just overall effectiveness. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, Biyomba's, again, playing for a pretty fucking big payday. Man, if Toronto wins, I don't know what to think of the NBA anymore. I just don't know. I think Kevin Love should lose his job though if he keeps playing like this.
You're fired, Kevin Love. Go back to college. Go back and play in college.
No, he's just the least. He's just not helping.
No,
he's just really not helpful. It's weird. Like for a guy, granted, I mean he went 10-7 as the third option on the team, 10 points and 7 boards. But god damn it, you were Kevin Love like 3 years ago. What happened to you? You were like 25 and 12 every day, easy.
So I only half blame. Well, okay, I 2/3 blame Kevin Love for these struggles and this lack of involvement. But here's the thing: when we see Kevin Love in a high pick and roll with LeBron James or Kyrie Irving, he is such a smart passer and a good enough shooter that he can make great plays. He can dominate, but he needs some help. He's just not an assertive personality. He needs some help from Kyrie Irving or LeBron James or his coach to be effective. They need to use him. He is not the superstar personality. They need to make use of him to win. And that's unfortunate, but they're not making use of him. That's partly a personal failing of Kevin Love, but it's also a tactical error on the part of the other Cleveland superstars and the Cleveland coach.
Yeah, I'd say so. I don't know, man. He's just not a good fit. It's weird. I don't understand. So I guess we're gonna move on from that. Maybe we'll talk about it more next episode. But we're big news. Like we talked about it with Lou a couple episodes ago. About the whole James Harden, Dwight Howard stuff that's been going on. Apparently, all signs indicate that Dwight Howard is going to forego his player option with the Rockets and leave. And the Rockets are now currently targeting Al Horford.
Good. Well, good. Yeah. Good for the Rockets. Good for Dwight Howard. That's good for everyone involved. Dwight Howard obviously wasn't being utilized there. No. Dwight Howard wanted James Harden to get traded. I think that is probably a bad sign. When one of your stars, once your other star is gone. I've never been in an NBA locker room, but that sounds bad when your players hate each other. So let's hopefully, like the Rockets were a big disappointment. They were I wish our good friend Lou was here, because he knows more about this than anyone, and he feels this more than anyone. But good God, the Rockets were frustrating and dreadful this last season. Absolutely.
Where do you think are some potential landing spots? Forget about money. Just think about fit. Obviously, he's not going to go to someplace like the Warriors. Nowhere crazy. But, like, where do you think would be a good place that seems to have room for him?
Back to the Lakers.
That's what I was thinking, too. Yeah, I was thinking Lakers, because now Kobe's not there. You don't have to worry about that shit. It's a prime time. It's a big stage. That's what he's always wanted. And, man, they have plenty of room for him. They got no fucking players there besides D'Angelo Russell. And
don't forget about Nick Young.
Yeah. Yeah, Nick Young. He's garbage. But, yeah, and they're gonna get a pretty good pick in the draft. So that's where I would go if I'm Howard.
Basketball wise, what you're saying makes a lot of sense.
Sure.
I mean, they need that kind of player there.
The Buses, Jeannie Buss wanted him back publicly. She wanted Dwight Howard back. Kobe didn't want him back, and Dwight didn't want to come back.
Well, Dwight Howard recently expressed in an interview. He told a story about something that was deeply affecting to him that he will never forget. He spoke about it very seriously. He was walking down the tunnel, and a Lakers fan throws their jersey to him, and it's a Dwight Howard jersey. They threw it at him scornfully. Dwight Howard had a terrible time in Los Angeles, and of course, Kobe was a big part of that, and Kobe threw him under the bus when he was not playing through a torn labrum, which is a very serious injury. Like, Dwight Howard just needs to tough it up and tear his shoulder more.
Meanwhile, Kobe tears his Achilles and doesn't
course.
play. So,
Yeah.
He shot free throws after.
Oh, yeah. Well, kudos to Kobe for shooting 2 free throws off of one leg. I've got news for you. I can shoot free throws sitting down. I won't shoot them well, but I can shoot a couple free throws. Now, but yeah, so basketball-wise, that makes sense. But, man, the Lakers fans made no secret of hating Dwight Howard. But no. I want to throw another team's hat into the ring. Because every team has a hat, and that's how NBA free agency go. They throw their hats at players.
It's like one of those money grabs in casinos where they just put you in like a plexiglass box and they shoot air everywhere and the money just goes all over the place. You got to stuff it in. It's like that, but with hats. An
NBA free agency is a wonder. Dwight Howard's when he went to this was before they hired Mike D'Antoni, he expressed a desire that the Lakers hire Phil Jackson. Dwight Howard,
New York.
Oh, spoilers! No, yeah.
That's the only place he's at, of course.
Well, I could have been going anywhere, but yes, I was going to Dwight Howard playing for the New York Knicks. Dwight Howard wanted to play for Phil Jackson. He thought that Phil Jackson is a player whisperer. He commands so much respect and is a chemistry guy and obviously maximized Michael Jordan's talents and taught him how to play nice with his teammates. Now, Dwight Howard has struggled with Kobe Bryant, has struggled with James Harden. Who better to get the most out of Dwight Howard and make him and Carmelo Anthony make sweet music together?
Jameer Nelson.
Yeah, precisely. But yeah, I mean, Jeff Hornacek, Knicks just picked him up. He was a very successful coach until the Suns traded all their good players away. And of course, they made Jeff Hornacek the scapegoat when they played poorly. I like it. The Knicks need a center, and Robin Lopez is a big, he looks like Sideshow Bob out there and is clumsy.
He looks like a caveman. I will say, though, that Phil Jackson does have an opt-out clause next year, after the season, in which he could go back to the Lakers and probably coach until he dies on the court, or just get a front office job because he doesn't want to do anything except probably smoke weed, drive around in Minnesota, and fuck Jeannie Buss. But man, Howard in New York. He thought he got crushed in L.A.
Yeah.
Oh, man. If I'm him, I'm going to fucking Memphis.
Well, I was thinking Minnesota, personally.
Minnesota. Oh, man. Actually, Minnesota with Towns and Wiggins and all. Yeah.
Now,
that actually would be a really fun team to watch.
That might be attractive, but I really want Karl Anthony Towns to play center. And I know that's not great for defense, but it's going to be really good for offense. And I think that's the direction the NBA is headed. But that would be fun. That might be good for Dwight Howard.
And it's Rubio, right?
Yes. Oh, Ricky Rubio would throw some lobs to Dwight Howard.
That's what I'm saying. Think about all the lobs.
Together. Well,
yeah, that'd be fun.
But if Dwight Howard doesn't like the bright lights of Times Square, he already flirted with the Milwaukee Bucks a bit. I don't know if you guys remember this.
You only ever flirt with people from Wisconsin. You never commit.
Yeah,
we all know that.
Well, at least he's got a girlfriend that he likes to visit, in Milwaukee.
Really?
Named
That's a
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Oh, she's probably hot. She sounds like a model.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Bucks are young.
Greek?
They show some Dwight loves him some Greek girls or boys, provided they're of age. And I think Giannis Antetokounmpo, pardon my pronunciation,
just barely of age.
He is approximately 18 years old.
I think they call him the Greek Freak. I don't know if that's on the court or in bed, but I think it works for both. So.
That's what.
He has 2 dicks like a shark.
That's so. I think if he's wanting to keep a little lower profile, have some lower expectations, the Bucks, despite having a much more talented roster than the New York Knicks, being the Milwaukee Bucks, have low expectations. Dwight Howard could go there and maybe have a little career renaissance. He's going to sell maybe a tenth the jerseys, but
in Milwaukee, no.
Sure. Well,
Man,
he'll go
don't
there.
to
He'll
Milwaukee.
eat candy. He'll.
Milwaukee needs to get sold to a real city, just anywhere.
I couldn't even tell you where Milwaukee
I mean,
is.
I don't mean the Bucks. I mean Milwaukee.
Okay. Just
needs to get sold elsewhere.
Yeah. I couldn't
Pick
even
it up
tell
like
you
in
where.
Avengers: Age of Ultron,
That's
and
exactly what I
rocket
was
ship
just
it
thinking.
over
Well,
to somewhere else.
You said they're in
Like-
Wisconsin. I don't even know where that is.
That's somewhere near Canada, I think.
It's on the other side of the Great Lake. From where I
one
am.
of them. There's only a few
Lake
of them.
Michigan,
Just pick
I do
one and put it
believe.
on the other side.
I think so.
Yeah, I know where it's at. I used to live in Michigan. I have some actually quotes. The big story from the old Dwight Howard news actually happened after he interviewed with Jackie McMullen, who is one of my favorite NBA reporters. She's just really great. She always has really interesting takes, and people seem to like really warm up to her. And we haven't heard a lot of Dwight Howard ever, really. He opened up about everything. I mean, we're going back to Orlando. That's how much this guy opened up to Jackie McMullen. And I mean, she's done really good interviews in the past. This is her best one, easily, just because of the profile of the guy and how much information she got out of him without like hounding him. He just like genuinely wanted to sit down and finally get it all out. So I have some quotes. Then we can discuss each topic, and I haven't broken up in topics. So this first one is actually about his desire to have a bigger role in Houston, where he actually had his worst statistical season since his rookie year, this year in Houston, not last year, this year. And his quote is, when asked on how he reacted to not having as big a role as he wanted, I felt like my whole role was being reduced. I went to Rockets general manager Daryl Morey and said, I want to be more involved. Daryl said, no, we don't want you to be. My response was, why not? Why am I here? It was shocking to me that it came from him instead of our coach. So I said to him, no disrespect to what you do, but you've never played the game. I've been in this game a long time. I know what it takes to be effective. The GM of the Rockets told Dwight Howard, one of the most dynamic centers in the NBA, hey, we don't want you to be more involved in the offense. Who did he want to be more involved in the offense? Did he want to go re-sign Omar Asik? Or did he want Patrick Beverly to suddenly be good on offense or something? Like, what the fuck was his idea here?
I'm guessing he wanted Trevor Ariza just to lob up a bunch of really bad shots like he usually does and play zero defense. So it was probably that.
It's refreshing to hear such candor and honesty and sincerity from Dwight Howard, a guy who usually makes fart jokes and eats a lot of candy. So for him,
that sounds unfamiliar to me.
For him to be, because he's usually passive aggressive. So
yeah,
it sounds like he's done some reflecting. I don't know. Like, we're only getting his side of the story here. He doesn't seem like the easiest guy in the locker room, but he's been in some pretty shitty situations, and he's clearly been a great player. And obviously, the Rockets did not care to make use of him, which is inexplicable considering they pay him about $20 million, and he's a very talented guy. So what the fuck is he doing there if you don't want him to be involved in the offense? And how do you expect a guy to stay engaged on defense when you don't care about him being involved in the offense?
And all that, he still averaged 13 points. I mean, and the guy's not like, he doesn't have a great mid-range shot, although we will talk about that in a bit. And he's obviously abysmal with free throws, but he made the best of what he could, and he still got 13 points, which is like, Eddie Curry tried really hard for years and never did that, I don't think. I don't think he ever scored over 10 points. I'm kidding, obviously. But so she goes on to interview him, and he says some things about the Rockets and blah, blah, blah. But she actually asks him about one of his most infamous things back in 2011. If you don't remember, Stan Van Gundy was the coach of the Magic at the time. And apparently there had been rumors going around that Dwight asked for Van Gundy to be fired, which is a half-truth. And so a reporter asked Stan Van Gundy, who is boisterous, open with everybody, always willing to say whatever's on his mind guy. And when asked, Van Gundy goes, "Oh yeah, Dwight definitely asked me to be fired. I know he did." And then right when that happens, Dwight Howard comes over, pats Stan Van Gundy on the back, and basically says, "Yeah, we're focused on winning the game," and blah blah blah. And he was asked about that, and his quote is, he was asked about that moment. The backstory is that months before that, before the lockout in 2011, I had a conversation with Magic owner Rich DeVos. They flew me out on a private plane to Michigan. I was talking to him about how we could grow the team. When I first got to Orlando, he called us the Orlando Tragic, and I hated it, he being Stan Van Gundy. But by the way, they were pretty tragic when he got there. I wanted to talk to him about how we could grow our team. I was saying, let's have Magic cereal, Magic vitamins with our players' faces on it so they can get to know our team. I used to live in Florida. People don't give a fuck about NBA basketball. And I lived 40 minutes away from Orlando at the time. There were more Heat fans than Orlando fans. And it's not even really within reasonable driving distance. And there were even more like Knicks fans, because there's a lot of transplants down there. So you really got to sell the team for the new people there. Like, you got to make the Magic really, really like big. Like, for a while there, Hito Turkoglu was their like most popular player. That's nuts. That shouldn't happen. So he goes on to say, in the course of our conversation, we started talking about what's going on with our team. I told Rich the truth. I told him, I love Stan. I think he's doing a great job, but he's lost his voice in the locker room, which happens to coaches, even to Stan Van Gundy. I could totally see that. And as a player, that's got to be frustrating, right? So he goes on to say, it wasn't, hey, I want Stan fired or else. I was never upset with Stan at any point. It wasn't anything personal against Stan. He knows that. It's just over the past couple years, I could see a lot of guys had lost faith in him, which is totally as a leader of a team. Like, usually when I hear Dwight Howard quotes when he's asked serious questions like this, I go, yeah, you're full of shit, dude. Like, just fucking go and just, wait until your contract's up and go to a different team. This sounds so reasonable, right? I'm not crazy, am I?
No, you are not. So that sounds a lot more believable than Dwight Howard marching into the owner's office and demanding that Stan Van Gundy be out of there and throwing a giant hissy fit. Now, we still only are in this interview hearing Dwight's side of the story, but Dwight Howard he's aired his own insecurities alongside these stories that in a way that makes me think that Dwight Howard is just telling exactly what's going on in his head and what happened. Right. I don't feel disinclined to believe him. And I think what he's saying makes sense. And like I said, his honesty is refreshing. Now, in the Daryl Morey situation, it's worrisome to trash your old employer while you're looking for a new employer. But, I mean, he's still a star, and he still is going to get paid.
And so you mentioned it, actually. He during this interview, and I've cut most of it. I'm just going to read to you guys. While Jackie McMullen is asking him questions, she'll ask him a random question in between every once in a while, and it'll be something about an insecurity. And he will honestly answer, like, yeah, it bothers me when stuff happens. You mentioned the Lakers fan that threw it. Like, he was genuinely upset about that. Like, it really gets under his skin. I think the question was something about his thin skin, actually, at the time. And then she goes on to ask him after he kind of opens up a little bit, like, people have been talking about you, like why don't you ever expand your range or change your game or anything like that? And actually, apparently he has, and here's the quote. Quote, I used to shoot 1,000 shots a day. I called Kobe when I was still playing in Orlando and asked him what I should do. He's the one who told me to take 1,000 a day. So I'd practice and practice them, but I'd be so afraid to take them in games because I was so worried I would miss. I hate messing up. I hate failure. I was just talking to WNBA star Tina Thompson. He didn't say WNBA star. That was in case no one knew who Tina Thompson was, which we didn't.
No, I didn't until you said WNBA, so I'm glad.
Yeah, she's in the WNBA. Tina Thompson. 3 shout-outs. You're welcome. He says, I was talking to Tina Thompson the other day about it. I told her about my fear of missing, and she said, Dwight, you're going to miss. Everybody does. And then he finishes that quote with, but I want to be perfect. This just screams of like insecurity and fear, which is weird for me specifically because I don't usually get nervous about stuff like this, so I don't really identify with it. But although I've never been in the NBA, and maybe there's more pressure on you there than in like church league basketball, but I don't know.
Doubt it.
Doubt it. Yeah, totes. But man, he's the opposite of Michael Jordan when it comes to this. And this is not a slight on Dwight Howard. I'm not talking shit about you, Dwight Howard. And I have already on this podcast. Today is not that day. Dwight Howard, you opened up, man. And like, you're being honest. This is like a step for you. This is you being honest with not just us, but yourself. You're finally telling the world that, hey, I don't want to fuck up. And now all of us, because we know this, will allow you to fuck up.
Yes.
You can totally practice 1,000 shots a day again and do well and get a mid-range game so that when you age, you can still play. Like, this is fantastic. Yeah. Could we possibly have good Dwight Howard back? From those 2 years in Orlando when he was the most dominant player in the league by far to the last like 2-3 where he was just like really, really fucking good. Could we get that guy back? Is he a killer? Will he be even better? He's only 30. I'm so excited.
Yeah. I think this is really cool because it makes him seem human. You know, you look at a guy like Dwight Howard and you think that is the like video game player. Like he's a 7-footer, he's athletic, he's insane, and you're just like, oh, he's just another NBA guy, you know.
His shoulder muscles are intimidating. Like
right.
Even if you just severed everything, like just from the nips down, took it all off, took his head off, just his arms and that part of his torso is like, holy shit, won't want to fuck with that dead person.
Right, that arms and torso could probably play better than me in the NBA, that's for sure.
Jake, you just described an awesome new RoboCop reboot. So the one thing that's constantly, the word that's used to describe Dwight Howard is immature, because all he does is
soft
smile.
Sometimes.
Well, which is kind of ridiculous because all he does is bang around in the
I think
paint.
they mean mentally.
Well, so
which would add to his immaturity, by the way.
So he gets called immature because, well, first of all, he smiles all the time, so of course he's not taking things seriously. I don't necessarily buy that. Not everyone has to be mean mugging all the time. But
He's been
I understand.
Serious before though, like especially in Orlando when they had that finals run. Like,
yeah,
you could tell the dude was fucking balling out. Like, he wasn't just playing around.
Of course. But I get, well, clearly he's demonstrated with his sincerity, which I do appreciate. That he is the antithesis in his attitude, in his vulnerability. It is the antithesis of a Michael Jordan or a like Steph Curry, for example.
Because if Michael Jordan got badmouthed, he would use it and play really fucking well the next time. Dwight Howard actually, it really directly affects his performance. And he says throughout this interview, like, yeah, it just, like, I will get disinterested and I will not try hard. And yes, that's my fault. I did that. I genuinely did do that. So when the times you thought that I wasn't trying as hard as I could, I probably wasn't. And he's opening up about that and talking about people in his life, like his close circle of friends, that are telling him, dude, you can't fucking do that. Yeah. It's amazing that he's so open about it now.
It's unbelievable. Well, and this to me, because I do get the immaturity thing in his behavior and his demeanor, but this to me screams maturity. Even though it's odd for an NBA player to admit to insecurity, that's not what you're supposed to. You're supposed to just have that killer instinct. Well, suppose you don't, but suppose you want to do better. Part of that is owning up and being aware of it so that you can overcome it. And now we've seen a step taken by Dwight Howard. We see him being honest and sincere, and I think that shows maturity, and that shows a possible positive step, and I'm excited to see where he can go from here.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, this is the name of the interview is called Superman Returns ? Because he closes the interview in total with this quote. He got a new trainer, and he said, and he's been working since the season ended, the day after it ended. He said, "It's either going to make or break me. Actually, I think it's already broken me because I have to make myself all over again. It's a new start." It sounds like he's crossed two thresholds. I think the first one he crossed was, "I'm not coming back to Houston." But the second one he crossed was a personal one that you just talked about, where he's like, "I'm fucking Dwight Howard. I could do anything I wanted in the NBA. I'm gonna do it now." Like, he's finally reaching the potential we all thought he had. If he comes out with this mentality and doesn't let himself get phased, I want to see him go through adversity. He's gonna have a 4 or 5 game shitty spell, and he's probably gonna go on a team with an already established star. I can't imagine he would go to nobody. He's 30 years old. He's been in the league forever. 12 years? Shit. He's going to get yelled at by a guy. Someone's going to get on his case. And during that losing streak, or just his poor play streak, we're going to see whether or not he comes back from that. And if he does, holy shit, we might have a dominant center in the NBA again. Like, truly dominant on both ends of the floor. Not since Shaq, right?
Dwight Howard's, I don't think we're ever going to see 2009, 2010 Dwight Howard athletically again.
I think we'd get 2 more years out of him, man. He's only
Well, the thing is, he's no longer a pogo stick. He is no longer a walking pogo stick. He's still a great athlete. He still can do a lot of stuff. But come on. The Dwight Howard I see right now athletically is not the same freak. He does not cover the same ground. He does not have the same hops as 2008.
Do you know who he said
Dwight
this
Howard.
about? Do you know who he said this exact same shit about?
Who's that?
Shaq. We all said the same thing about Shaq. He went to LA, he gained weight, and we're like, oh, he's not the guy. And he got some injuries, and he just fucking dominated anyways for years. I mean, he dominated even sometimes on the Heat.
I will concede that. I will concede that a less athletic Shaq played better than a spry Shaq that used to run the floor like Blake Griffin.
Yeah. He was fucking nuts to watch with
Shaq,
Orlando.
So Shaq did, his game matured, and for Shaq, he matured. It's a funny like they're good analogies for each other because they're similarly, they're goofballs. They could be seen. They could be seen as petty, or they don't get along with other stars. But so maybe you're right. But I don't think we've seen the same polished post game from Dwight that we've seen from Shaq, but we'll see. Shaq went from a run the floor freak who was dominant athletically to still dominant because of his size and muscle, but not an athletic run the floor guy. So I don't know. Maybe you're right, Jake. Maybe we'll see Dwight Howard. Maybe we'll see him elevate his game in other ways, even though he does not cover the same ground as he used to, even though he doesn't jump up and down 3 times in a second, like, for example, Andre Drummond does. Andre Drummond is the guy that I think Dwight Howard used to be on offense, at least. Yeah,
well, I'm thinking based upon this interview, the dude obviously could shoot mid-range shots at one point in his career. Like he practiced 1,000 a day while he was in Orlando, which when he was in the best shape of his life, and he didn't shoot him because he was scared. What if he just goes back to expanding his game outside of the athleticism with this new mentality? Like, that's what I'm talking about.
Jake, he could. I believe him when he says that he was shooting mid-range jumpers, and I'm sure it's possible. All he's got
to do is hit 40%.
But the idea that Dwight Howard, like, the idea of Dwight Howard suddenly shooting mid-range jumpers, it's like, I don't know, down is up is down, dogs and cats sleeping together. Like, it's a really weird image. Like, what if Dwight Howard just starts shooting threes? Like,
what? I don't know about that.
I don't know about threes, but I have to agree with Jake, and I think that if Dwight Howard comes out of this, and if he's training as hard as he says he is, and he expands his game a little bit, I think he is going to be a dominant center in the league. I really do.
This is his last contract, by the way. If he doesn't show up, then no one's paying him again.
Well, that's okay, because he's going to get 4 years on a max deal or near max deal. So
Probably.
he doesn't need another one. He just has to. He's just worried about his legacy now. Now I'm a little more skeptical than you guys. But of course, he's clearly very gifted, and he could be a superstar again. We haven't seen that superstar, but maybe he's.
Don't get me wrong. I am skeptical. I just am pumped for the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's so fun to watch when he's good. And we just don't have guys like that in the league. Like Drummond is really the closest thing, but he's a really good player. But he's not what Dwight even used to be. So it's like,
well, Dwight is one of the best defensive players I've ever seen, and Andre Drummond doesn't know his ass from his elbow on defense. So
he gets help blocks. He gets help.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
Yeah. He'll withstand Van Gundy. He'll round into a really, really great low post defensive player.
So,
in my opinion, he's got all the tools for it, and he seems to have the mentality he's going to get paid a shit ton of money to stay in Detroit forever. So,
for me, Dwight Howard. As long as his health holds up, as long as that missing vertebrae in his back.
He says it didn't cause him any discomfort this season.
Well, then
after the surgery.
If that's the case, then someone needs to light a fire under his ass, because I'm still not seeing that same speed.
He's training with the guy. He's training with the guy in Phoenix that Shaq trained with, to get his health back up, and then he had some really good years. He had like 2 or 3 more good years in him, and Shaq was older and way more out of shape. And it's like that guy's like a guru, and like he's the guy that started the NBA trend of like hyperbaric chambers and like ice baths into hot baths and the ice baths again, and compression sleeves, and that's why everyone wears compression shorts down to their ankles. And
I don't know about all that hippy dippy bullshit, but well, I will say this:
just take an aspirin and walk it off. Drink some scotch, you pussy.
Here's an edge for Dwight Howard though. He looks to be in primo shape. He's still slim. He's as slim as he's ever been. He is lean and mean. In comparison with Shaq, who struggled with his weight for the back half of his career.
Pretty much the second.
Dwight,
the second half, not even just the back half. Like five. Well, it was his 5th year in the league. He went to L.A. Pretty much from that moment on.
Yeah,
he was in the league for 19 years. It was like the first quarter.
Well, so cautious optimism. Sky's the limit, except for maybe the sky, maybe a little bit lower than the sky. Dwight's getting old, but
top of the backboard.
Top of the backboard.
The old days.
There you go.
Oh man. So I guess we're rounding out the sports here on Riding the Pine. So obviously we had to finish the show with a burrito attack. Do you know what a burrito attack is? Does anyone have any idea what this story might be before I go into it? Just what's your first gut instinct, your guess?
You're going to make us debate which is better between the beefy crunch and the cheesy double beef from Taco Bell?
You're in the ballpark, but not even close.
Now, I have been attacked by a burrito, so I think I know where this is going. If you are trying to drive a stick and hold a burrito at the same time, it can go poorly for you. I have almost been in an accident due to a bean spray from a burrito while driving a stick.
Ooh, bean spray. That's a real danger, people. Mind your bean spray.
Yeah, be aware.
You're both dead wrong. You're terrible and fired.
There's Sarah McLachlan videos on bean spray that you should be aware of as well.
The arms of the angel.
For only 25 cents a day, you too can prevent bean spray.
And then there's just like cats with bean spray in their eye.
Anyways, our fans are chomping at the bait here.
So this is from Milton, West Virginia, the mighty, mighty mountaineer state of West Virginia, which, by the way, is my least favorite of the Virginias and also all the other states, because West Virginia is fucking garbage. If you live in West Virginia, move. Also unsubscribe. And please delete anything that you've downloaded from this podcast off of any device you have, and then crush your phone, and then forget you ever heard my voice. Fuck you, West Virginia. Anyways, the title of this article, written by Jeff Tavs, because he couldn't... It's Tavss, because in West Virginia, fuck vowels. Woman arrested for beating son over wrong burrito order. One more time. Woman arrested for beating son over wrong burrito order. Loretta Armstrong was charged with child abuse because of Taco Bell toppings. The article starts, Hell hath no fury as a woman scorned, or one that didn't get the burrito she ordered. A West Virginia woman was arrested on felony child abuse charges after being accused of hitting her son in the face because he didn't bring her the exact burrito ordered at Taco Bell. Now, the point I want to make here is not that she maybe went too far, because I think that's obvious. But the real thing here is West Virginia Taco Bells get your shit together. It's really easy not to put tomatoes on shit. This boy's blood is on your hands, Taco Bell.
That's what you're
No, but
taking out of
seriously.
that's it's the opposite end of what I was going with this. That's
Actually, what I wanted to talk about is what level of fucked up order would it take for you to beat a child?
Onions.
Onions, just
If
on
the-
anything? Like if you go to McDonald's,
if
you're like, no onions, please.
If there's onions, blood will be shed. Doesn't
Like-
matter whose.
Like not like Casey Anthony style. Like you're not gonna drown it or beat it to death, right? Like just like
What,
draw a little
the
blood.
burrito
like,
or
"I'll
the person
teach
who
you."
ordered?
There you go. Like they should have checked.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is no laughing matter. I don't know if you've ever had a burrito, but they can be glorious. There is not.
Yeah, for some of you burrito virgins out there.
So if you've ever taken a burrito, you know how good that feels.
Oh yeah, especially when it's like a soft, fresh flour tortilla. There's nothing better. I made burritos tonight,
So,
as a matter of
I-
fact. So
I take my burritos unwrapped and without onions, and
wait, unwrapped? That's not a burrito. That's a tostado on a flour tortilla.
Jake,
Boom.
you have never eaten a burrito with the wrapper still on. Come on.
Oh no! Oh,
No.
wrapper. I thought you meant like not wrapped up in a tortilla.
I thought it meant just
I was
on tortilla, not
Jake,
Yeah.
Jake,
Okay, we're good.
These are innuendos. Keep up. Now, ordering a burrito, it's not hard. Making a burrito, it's not hard. I've done both. I'm pretty good at both, but that's not a brag. It's just part of being a human being.
The basic skills endowed to us were breathing, fucking, and making a quality burrito.
And ordering quality
And
burritos.
ordering burritos. Yeah,
Ordering
of course.
is even easier. So if you're gonna beat someone, if you don't know who's at fault, you should default to the orderer. If it's your son, it is your duty to the world. Because you have birthed this child, you are sicking this child on the world. You do your goddamn job. You parent. All right, that's called parenting. Oh, now
Beating
hold
the
on.
shit out of your kid.
How
for
much?
fucking up a
How much?
burrito is
Hold on. I haven't
His
read this
parenting
article,
now.
Jake. How much shit was beaten out of this kid? Is he still with us?
just began hitting. That's it. When she realized the incorrect
That's it?
toppings were on the burrito.
What?
multiple
Her-
hitting, like
Jake,
Officers claim. Hold on. Officers claim it took 3 hours to arrest Armstrong after the incident, which occurred in the family's driveway, meaning up to 3 hours of beatings,
wow.
but no more, probably less. And then Armstrong allegedly tried to fake a medical condition. She screamed and cussed and yelled and claimed she was having a heart attack as she was being arrested. When it was apparent Armstrong was faking a heart attack, she was brought to the jail and booked. Other than the child abuse charges, Armstrong also faces 3 misdemeanor charges and is being held on $31,000 bond.
so
I say we free Loretta.
start a
Hashtag.
GoFundMe right this very second because
Oh,
she
yeah.
was
Free
doing her
Loretta.
goddamn job.
That's
Kid,
yeah.
get it right. How old is this kid?
Hopefully it doesn't matter anymore and he was put where he deserves.
Well,
It doesn't
here's the
say.
thing. Now,
It doesn't say. It says child,
there's-
but it also says son. She's 48. I assume he's got to be graduating age. Like, he's in high school. Let's be real.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what I was
Well,
thinking.
I suppose I should backtrack a bit here and show some compassion because it's possible that this kid's burrito ordering shortcomings are the fault of the parent to begin with.
Maybe. So it's
now
like a nature v. nurture dilemma we have here between when is it right to beat the shit out of your child for ordering a poor burrito, or when maybe it's your fault for giving them deficiencies within the burrito ordering faculties. So maybe she did go too far. And maybe we are wrong for backing Loretta Lynn Armstrong of Milton, West Virginia, for kicking the shit out of her son for putting tomatoes accidentally on her burrito via the person who did it at Taco Bell.
I do understand the police doing their due diligence in arresting a person named Loretta Lynn for child abuse. That seems only natural.
Also, just off the top of your head, what kind of haircut do you think she has?
A bouffant.
It is a bouffant. I'm not gonna lie to you.
What?
It is a bouffant, but also a mullet. It is not just one, but both.
A buffullet.
Yes, sir. Look at that.
Okay, yep.
that is the
that is
bouffant up
glorious.
front.
I am on this
mullet.
woman's side.
Also, this is the only human being I've ever seen where the smile lines are actually frown lines. Like, this person has never smiled. Like, this Taco Bell thing, this was the only joy in her life, and that bastard took it.
It looks like she just rubbed hot sauce on her face.
She's red.
Yeah.
She's red. Well, it was from all the strenuous beatings that she was giving to her children at the time. She was a little tuckered out, maybe a little winded.
Makes
Maybe the
sense,
heart attack
yeah.
was real. I don't think it's right for us to say Loretta Lynn wasn't having a heart attack, especially because she frequents Taco Bell.
Now, this is a sports podcast, so inevitably we have to consider
Is child abuse a sport?
Now,
No, please
I was going to
no.
say that probably shouldn't be, even when burritos are involved. Despite our strong feelings and
Obvious conviction.
Here at Riding the Pine, we obviously have very strong convictions about burrito
especially
ordering.
on burritos. Food in general, really. But mostly our Mexican brethren.
We do recognize that child beating is a gray area. So,
for some people, they probably don't get that we're clearly not for child beatings, and they're going to be like, I'm not really, I don't know about this riding the pine business. Where I come from, beating your child is actually frowned upon.
Now, if I can find the unsubscribe button, I'll definitely click it.
Now, this elderly redneck that you're clearly speaking for, Jake, I don't think they heard the rest of our discussion where we're talking about burritos.
Which is serious business.
But here is burrito ordering a sport? Not yet, but it could be.
It definitely could be. And I think, do we award points to someone being efficient or to the people that make the burritos? Or both? Is it like a competition?
It's a competition, yeah.
Well, to me, the burrito makers are like NBA referees, where they're not going to be perfect, but they're going to do their damnedest, and they're going to make mistakes, but they're professionals. They get paid for this. They're going to.
So the tomatoes on this were like the elbow tomato Ginobili's forehead.
No. The tomatoes were the kid's fault, but burrito ordering. So I don't know. So someone else buys, you fly, you order burritos for your friends, 5-6 people, 5-6 friends or coworkers.
Sure.
Sometimes you write it down, but what if you don't write it down? But what if someone else has been given the same task as you? You have 6 burritos to get. You also have to remember side orders and sodas. Now, everyone likes the burrito a very different way.
Sure.
I agree. You are being judged for time and accuracy.
I think it should not be counted as a burrito if there is not some form of protein, which could be legume or meat. So beans or meat, for layman's out there. You must have a vegetable. Whether that's in the sauce, like it could just be part of the sauce, the tomatoes or whatever, but also maybe onion, some jalapeno, some something in there. Lettuce is also fine, and it also has to have tortilla. It can either be corn or flour. It cannot be anything else. That is the only option.
I like this, Jake, because now it sounds not only are we talking about the accuracy with which someone orders all of the burritos, we're talking about the quality of the assembly, like what a sort of ingredients have been assembled. Like that could be an art form. We're talking
From the
about
look of this, it is a
thousands of
burrito
possible
supreme.
combinations.
From the look of this, it's a burrito supreme, but
Oh,
a bean burrito supreme.
The most supreme of all burritos.
Well, it includes, but is not limited to, beans, maybe some beef, but it doesn't look like this one had any, rice, lettuce, sour cream, Colby Jack cheese, maybe some onions, and obviously tomatoes, which I think the tomatoes, I think we all know, those are probably where it really fell apart for him.
Now,
Like, let's be real. I mean, he came into the first, 2 or 3 periods really strong. You pick a flour tortilla, which is perfect for a burrito. We don't go burritos with corn. Let's be real. You can. It's not against the rules, but it's not preferred. It's like taking a 40-foot jump shot. It happens sometimes. It can work out, but it's not what we go for. Like Aaron Rodgers, his Hail Marys, those were corn tortillas. That's the equivalent, right? But now he really fell apart at the end with the tomatoes, man.
Jake, but you don't understand. You just changed the game. I did not know this was a burrito supreme we were talking about. The difference between a burrito and a burrito supreme at Taco Bell is 2/3 of the difference is tomatoes and 1/3 is sour cream. When you ask for a burrito, you get a burrito. When you ask for the supreme, they add sour cream and tomatoes. Now, this person could have ordered a burrito with sour cream. Well, the mother, of course. The mother could have ordered a burrito with sour cream. Instead, she ordered a burrito supreme, which comes with tomatoes on it. She added the tomatoes herself. And
I think you're onto something, and I think we need to maybe, and not to go through this with too much of a fine-tooth comb, but I do think that maybe if she was the one, and now we don't know the dialogue that went on behind closed doors, it may have well been, please get me a burrito with sour cream, but he thought to himself, burrito supremes come with that, I'll just get that. Not thinking to himself, she wanted to on purpose omit the tomatoes. However, if she's not ordering that and she is ordering a burrito supreme, that's on her. This is the tuck rule of beatings.
Jake, now, exactly. If we were treating this more seriously as a sport, we might have instant replay by now and maybe challenge flags. So we might actually know what happened exactly. We'd be able to see this from different angles.
All right.
That could fix all of this.
I think the only thing we have left to do, because we're running out of time, we have to go to the booth for this. So Ryan, as the newcomer, you are the most objective between the two of us. We've been on too many shows together to really come to a conclusion on this. You are the all-seeing eye. You are the burrito smith here. You are the Wizard of Oz behind the curtains. Please tell us, was she justified in kicking the shit out of her child, or was that on her?
All right, so after a review on the burrito ordering and after discussion between you two, I'm going to favor with David on the call and say that it was righteous in the beating.
Beating righteous. Consider it so. Riding the pine, official. Thank you, Ryan, for the strong condemnation against this stupid fucking kid from West Virginia. That'll teach ya. Love, Jake. So yeah, that's it for the show. I think that's good. Some child abuse to round it out. It's always good. Although he is probably a teenager, let's be real. It's barely child abuse at that point. He's in West Virginia. He should be used to it. Any closing statements or thoughts before we fade out?
I sure hope, as much as I think the Thunder is starting to deserve getting into the finals, I sure hope the Warriors can fix their burrito smithing right now. Their burrito-manship is lacking. I like to... Draymond Green really forgot to take off the tomatoes this last game, and
too many burrito puns here. I think henceforth we should probably score all efforts out of a total of 5 burritos.
I agree completely.
I'm okay considering.
And fractional burritos, of course, could have different toppings.
I'm just glad. I I'm really glad we were able to contain this to tacos for this podcast. I mean, 2 burritos for this podcast, because the second I said tacos, we're threatening to open up a whole different can of worms, and we're gonna have to devote a whole podcast to that in the future.
Obviously. I love how the theme is we'll talk about stuff, and then David will make up a podcast we have to do.
Yeah.
Every episode you said, well, we have to devote time to this. It's pretty fantastic. So Ryan, as judge and jury, I gotta say you did pretty well. Is there anything else that you wanted to close your segment on? Like, what else can we expect from you? Are you coming back on?
Yeah, I'm definitely coming back on. I had a lot of fun. I just want to say that from here on out, I'm going to definitely have to step up my burrito ordering game so I don't also get beaten to the death. Or not death. I guess we don't know for sure. And I would like to...
Fingers crossed on death.
Yeah, we don't know. I would like to, since this is my first time on the podcast, I would like to make a prediction here. And I say that if Golden State wins the West, I think they're going to blow the Cavs to smithereens and it'll be 4-0. And if the Thunder come out of the West, I think we'll have a very good series on our hands, and that's going to probably be a 7-game series. So
it's we could call him Socrates.
Socrates has spoken. Let it be true.
All right, so that's it for this episode of Riding the Pine. If you'd like to, you should subscribe. If you would also like to do another thing, you should share us with people. We will be available on some podcasting services coming out. We have Lou working on that situation. John should be back on the show at the beginning of June, so maybe an episode or 2 before he gets back. But he wanted to talk about all sorts of stuff, but he's been having probably the time of his life. I'm pretty sure that he's been traveling the world making burritos for the less fortunate. But there's really no way of knowing.
What a waste.
We could probably ask him, but there's no way of knowing. And so for Ryan and David, I'm Jake, and this has been Riding the Pine, where we don't write our outros, we just wing it. And by we, I mean me. And not very good at it yet.
I stayed on script the entire time. Every
You
word.
have a script?
Oh yeah, every word read right off the paper,
Wow, I should have read that too.
including these ones.
Did we plan this?
You went way off script. It was terrible. But
Please come back.
anyways, good night, everybody. From Jake and Ryan, I am stealing this outro.
He stole it. God damn it.
Here at Riding the Pine, we like to steal outros. For Jake and David, we'll see you guys next time.
Tomorrow, though. But not.
To next time.